Now in its 9th year, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey everybody, I'm Alex and this is the Ramble, and we go on once again until midnight tonight from the East Coast of the United States of America, and here I am, gee, should I lower myself a little bit in the frame? Let me see here. Always have to adjust things. You know, I do the whole thing here. I do all the switching and all that crap, so, you know, whatever. Anyway, it's time to bring in a person we use every now and then when I don't have anything else to do. And his name is Phil Meyer. Hello, Phil. How are you?
Just fine, thanks.
Yeah.
You must be scraping the bottom of the barrel if you got me.
Here's what happened to me. You know, things are just not going good lately. All right. I do two interviews with Lori Thompson, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the other day we did two of them.
Yeah.
And one of them I erased.
Oh.
So, and you say, well, why don't you call her back and do another one? And the answer is she's now in Europe. So,
don't you do a backup when you do a recording?
Not when I'm doing the initial recording. The initial recording. And when I did it, I had to stop it for some reason. I had to start over again, and there were two versions of the same thing, and I erased the full one.
Well, that's kind of nice. I'm a Lori fill-in. All right.
Yeah. But I mean, that's my way of doing things. You know, lately I'm screwing up like crazy. I never used to screw up like this. I got to tell you, really never did. And
you know, it could be the heat. I know that my memory for the last few days, last few weeks hasn't been all that good. And it could be the heat. It could be the pain I have in my shoulder just never stops. But you're lucky. You know, I was just looking at Drudge, and it says that AI is on the new dawn, and it's going to write the news. So why don't you just tell AI to do a GapNet show?
Probably it'd probably be the best way for me to handle this. But
yeah, you'll replace me with AI.
I'll replace you with AI. Yeah.
AI. Give me a Republican that won't curse.
I'll tell you what's happening. And I was really depressed after last night's show. Now people go, "Why? It was a perfectly good show," and it was.
Yeah.
But I notice that when I'm doing the show, I suddenly have lapses of memory for just words. I can't remember the word I'm going for, and that is bothering me.
Well, I think that's a normal part of aging. Although, are you playing that game? My friend Barry plays it. It's in the New York Times. I think it's called it's Wordle.
No,
and there's another one called Sudoku.
No, I do crosswords.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, those are the kinds of things that help you strengthen your memory and the things that you're thinking about.
Yeah.
But just remember, you don't need fancy words with.
But it's like I will go for a simple word that I want to fill out a sentence or something like that, and I can't come up with it like I used to. You know.
Oh.
The other thing, I'll tell you, another thing I noticed about getting old, today I had to, for my lawyer, because, it never stops with the owners of this apartment house, Wow. Well, they misfiled the rental on this apartment to what's called the DHCR, which is the Department of Housing and something.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to, every year, you're supposed to report how much you are charging for a particular apartment, particular thing.
Yeah. But I guess register the
apartment, right?
Yeah.
And they had the registration at $2,225, $2,225. Okay,
Oh.
and that's not right. It should be $500.07.
So now it's going to cost you $10,000.
It's going to cost me $10,000 to get my lawyer to get this thing changed and to challenge their idea of what.
Misfiling.
Yeah, they're misfiling.
Can you get fees when something like that happens?
No, we can't. No. I mean, I know it's going to be a constant battle.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to have to be ready for it. So today I had to send this thing to my lawyer, fill it out, and then have it notarized, so that he could act on my behalf.
Right.
All right.
And you didn't have to be there.
Now, why he didn't in the beginning of this whole process ask for a power of attorney is beyond me, but he didn't. So.
Well, he can charge for it now.
Yeah, he can charge for it now. Yeah. And but anyway, so and that's going a long way to get to what I'm getting to. I had to sign my name.
Yeah. You signed it, Alex Bennett?
I have no signature left. Really?
Oh, is it getting smaller?
No, it's getting just, I go Bennett, and I get most of the Bennett out. I can get that in cursive. Okay.
Yeah.
And then when I get to the Schwarzman, it's SCH blah, 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 blah. And I've actually gone down onto a piece of paper and said, okay, I'm gonna write my name on this piece of paper, and I will try it many times until I get the Schwarzman right, and I never can get it right. My hand just won't do it anymore. Now, I don't know if that's because I'm old
weaker,
and my hand is getting weaker, or I just haven't had to sign my name very often. Okay?
Well, I have to sign my name too much because it has to go on every check that gets written, and every day they present me with 3, 4, 10, 14 checks. And so what I did was I got a rubber stamp. Self-inked.
Yeah, but I
rubber
can't do that. See, I can't. I couldn't do that on this because it had to be signed by a notary, and I had to have my real signature on there. It was, if I did a stamp, it wouldn't work. I suppose I can go to X. I guess I can go to X as my signature. But I mean, I just don't have the ability to write my entire signature anymore. And I don't know if that's because I just don't really sign my whole signature very often.
Yeah.
Okay. Or it's because my hand has slight arthritis in this hand and it makes it difficult. But in any event, I can't sign my name anymore.
This is something that happens with age. Talking about age, I just saw here that Fleetwood Mac could reunite for one last reunion.
Yeah, but how many of them are dead?
I know. You think they'll remember the words?
Christine McVie is dead.
Yeah.
And what's his name? The leader of the group, the leader of the group.
I forget. But they're going to reunite with Buckingham for one last reunion. But,
I mean, are they going to have what's her name?
I think so. Yeah.
See, I can't even remember that, folks.
I don't either.
It's time for me to quit. Okay.
They're all gonna come on stage with their what are those things that
walkers?
They walk?
Walkers.
Yeah, with their walkers.
It's funny. I can remember that word.
Yeah.
But
that's because you yell, "Get me my walker."
Yeah. And then I went down to walk down to get it notarized at the UPS store, and they said the person who does the notarizing's out till lunch.
Yeah.
So I had to walk around the neighborhood for like a half hour, and then come back, and they did it for me. But I mean, but I had a hard time walking down there because I was lightheaded. Because when I first get up, and then I've still got this pill in me at fairly full force. I have a wobbly feeling and everything, but then I went down the street and I started walking, and I walked a mile today. So.
Do you take your blood pressure when you get up? because sometimes when your blood pressure changes, as you've been asleep for 8 hours,
Yeah.
and you get up, you might feel lightheaded, and
No, I feel lightheaded. I think a lot because I have what is it? See, there I go. Right?
that's
There
okay.
I
You're
go.
allowed.
No, I have positional vertigo.
Yeah.
And if I'm lying down for a while and I get up fast, I'm lightheaded.
Yeah.
I'm a little stumbly,
Yeah.
And then I take that pill. I'd like to stop taking all those pills.
I've since I've been doing the intermittent fasting and the exercise and plating my meals, my sugar, it's not perfect, but it was 6.2 A1C, which is, the doctor wrote me today and says your diabetes is under control. Good job. And I asked for another test called a C-peptide test, which determines how much insulin you're producing. And I'm in a good range, and I'm producing insulin.
Yeah, but have you cut down on? Are you basically on a low carbohydrate diet?
Yeah, except
Yeah.
tonight when I was out to dinner and I had bread pudding and ice cream. But,
Well, forget that then.
yeah. Well, at least for tonight.
I just am eating anything I want to eat now because for some reason I just don't gain weight. I'm not losing weight, but I'm not gaining weight. So
Well, that's good.
it all sucks. It all sucks. So I often said when it got to the point that I could no longer do this with any efficiency, that's when I'd stop. And I'm beginning to feel I can't do this with any efficiency anymore. I mean, I lose a whole a 25-minute interview with Lori, which I feel bad about, not for me but for her, because it was very good.
Yeah.
And then then this whole thing of just like doing the show and then trying to remember a word that I'm trying to say, and it's a simple word and I can't remember it.
You're amongst friends here, and nobody's going to pay you any less than they're paying you now.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is I'd like to get people to listen to it. I'd like to be entertaining.
Sure. And you are. Do you think that your cognitive abilities would increase if you didn't do this?
No. No, they probably get worse.
They probably decline.
Yeah.
So,
I don't want people to feel that they're calling me because they want to help me with my therapy,
They need therapy too. There isn't one person that calls this show, including me, that doesn't need the therapy.
Well, you.
Yeah.
And maybe Tony.
Yeah, really. Hey, the guy that I kind of like for the Republican nomination?
Yeah, which jerk is this?
Vivek Ramaswamy.
Who?
He's in second place now. And
who says he's in second place?
Let's see. I just
What's his name? I don't even know how to spell it.
Vivek Ramaswamy. And
Vivek Ramaswamy.
Yeah, he's a businessman. Let's see.
Well, we don't need another one of those.
Yeah. Well, actually, he's a pretty smart guy. He's 37 years old, and he's the first millennial that's. It says poll. Ramaswamy surges into second place in Republican race. It doesn't say who did the poll. I didn't click on it. I just printed out.
Here, Vivek Ramaswamy polls. I don't want his site because they're going to lie. Okay.
He's actually a pretty good guy, and trying to be in a higher place. And I don't think he's going to get into spats with Trump. But if he's in second place now, that may mean that he'll be on the debate stage, even though Trump probably.
No, that has nothing to do with it.
No? Well, I thought it was you had to be polling.
No. It's how much money you have raised.
Well, he could write the check.
No, I'm saying it's a matter of how much money you've raised. That's whether you get on that debate stage.
Really?
Yes.
So you buy your place up there.
Well, your followers buy it. Okay.
Yeah.
It says he's closing in on DeSantis, so he's not number 2.
Oh, well, this thing says he surged into second place in the Republican race.
But that's according to what poll?
I don't know. This was on Drudge, and I just printed out the Drudge headlines. I didn't bother
Reading them.
Hey, you gave me about 15 minutes to get ready.
Let me see here.
This is the 15-minute prep. But
that's 15 minutes more than mine.
Yeah, but you've been doing it for 65 years, and you don't have to prep.
Let me see here. Biden easily wins over Trump in
47-40.
Yeah. A difficult path for a third party. Republicans now think Donald is boring. I would agree with that.
Yeah, I'm to that.
Pence scrambles to make first debate. DeSantis urges probe of Bud Light. God damn it! He is an idiot. He's a moron. I talked to Lori, and she says in Florida they don't even like him anymore. Where you used to kind of have a fairly decent following. In Florida, they hate him.
Last election. He killed it in the last election.
That's the last election, but since then he's done the Disney thing. He's done a whole bunch of stuff, and he's become very unpopular.
Well, Disney's
I know where you're getting.
What is this?
I know where you're getting all your items from.
Yeah,
here's a Fleetwood Mac on.
Right. I told you I had 15 minutes.
AI to write the news.
Right.
Right.
Well, at least you can join in.
If it's a headline, it's a topic for film.
Now, did I hear that Disney was being bought by Apple?
No. There is a rumor that they would merge, but that's just a rumor. There's no substance to that particularly. But no, it would be a merging of one sort or another. But I don't know. I don't know if that would happen.
Yeah, it might be antitrust kind of thing, or entertainment getting too large.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah,
the government's not that happy when two giant companies merge. Together. Well,
I was at dinner tonight, and they had a TV above the bar, and the news headline in San Francisco.
So you were drinking your dinner, were you?
No, actually, I had water. I had sashimi omakase, which is like 7 different sashimis, the chef's choice, and I had really good dessert, and I had a beet salad. The beet salad's delicious.
No, you're not one of those people who takes a picture of your food and then puts it on Facebook, are you?
No.
Okay, good.
No. I rarely post anything on Facebook. People sometimes look at that, and I don't want them to think that I'm a nut. Although I've got a lot of Trump stuff. Actually, it's all positive Trump stuff, mostly to do with the charity that I'm involved with.
It says here, Crowder sent photos of genitals. Who's Crowder?
He's being accused.
Who is he?
Steven Crowder is a guy that goes to college campuses, sets up a table, videotapes the conversation, and says, convince me. Maybe it would be, an example is, he'll support the Second Amendment and somebody else doesn't, and so they'll sit down and have a discussion, or they'll talk about abortion and things like that. And he does it on college campuses. He's actually an interesting guy, Steven Crowder.
Yeah, did you notice this other headline? This is a fun one.
Which one?
Kevin Spacey must be hiring terrible lawyers.
Yeah, I did notice that.
Spacey's lawyer, it's not a crime to have sex if you're famous. Well, it isn't a crime ever to have sex, okay?
And unless it's an underage boy.
Unless you're breaking a law somehow, And unless it's forcible rape, I'd say then it doesn't matter how famous you are.
Yeah. I like this one. Why do neo-Nazis keep getting arrested for child sex material? You ever wonder? You know,
I don't know. I have no idea.
and
Boy,
this
we're,
one's
we're sitting here reading Drudge to everybody, aren't we?
you know, hey, it works. Drug addicted cocaine sharks are gobbling bales of narcotics that are dumped off the coast, most likely Florida.
Who whales?
No, sharks.
Sharks.
So you remember Sharknado?
Yeah.
Now these guys are getting coked up, and you know they'll start coming ashore and looking for $100 bills so they can
Well,
snort
it
it.
says here that Gwyneth Paltrow is dominating the California pot market.
Yeah, you know there's
Does she call her marijuana that she sells goop?
who is the guy? It's not Sylvester Stallone. Who's the boxer that went to jail and was a prolific boxer? Mike Tyson.
Mm-hmm.
He has made.
Oh
a
yeah,
fortune.
he has a marijuana company. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Who's his partner? Do you remember?
I don't know who his partner is,
No,
but I know that he's done very well at it.
Yeah, his partner might be Snoop Dogg. I'm not sure.
I don't think so. I think Snoop Dogg has his own stuff going.
Has his own thing.
Yeah.
You know, there's a Snoop Dogg munchie meal at Jack in the Box now.
No.
Yes,
No,
I heard.
no,
I saw the commercial. It's a Snoop Dogg munchie meal. You know, so in the middle of the night when
All
you're
right. Wait a minute. I don't believe this. Let me see.
Gwyneth Paltrow
Snoop Dogg munchie meal.
in a box munchie meal.
Meal. Let me see here. Wait a minute. Oh, we didn't type. Okay,
Yeah,
Snoop Dogg. Dog.
I think there's 2 G's in Snoop Dogg.
Oh, 2 G's. Okay. Yeah. It said I spelled it wrong. Snoop Dogg. What is it called again? The munchie
The munchie meal at Jack in the Box.
Yeah, here's the munchie meal at Jack and they do have a Snoop Dogg munchie box. It's a spicy sauced and loaded chicken sandwich,
Yeah.
a classic taco, medium curly fries. Okay, this is getting to take care of the munchies pretty good. Then a baked brownie and a beverage of the customer's choice.
Wow.
The Snoop Dogg
Who came
munchie
up with
meal.
that?
I don't know, but whoever did it at Jack in the Box is actually a genius.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay,
Because
and
it goes to
he
Jack
should
in the
get a
Box.
raise.
Well, can you imagine that in this day and age,
Yeah.
that you could have this kind of stuff? Do you remember back in the '60s, or if you smoked a joint, you were looking at 8 years in Attica,
Yeah.
and now they've got munchie meals with Snoop Dogg. You know,
Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty good. Pretty good.
Well, things that aren't so good. I was watching also the same TV at dinner. It was just behind the bar, and I was at a high top table with Faye.
Yeah.
And there's this guy gets on, and he says he owns a sandwich shop in the Haight-Ashbury, and somebody was peeing on his garbage cans, so he went out there and said something, and the homeless guy hit him, gave him a black eye, a cut on his head,
Yeah.
and then ran off. So he's all pissed off that they're not going to do anything to this guy, and that here he is in business. They're letting people pee on his garbage cans, and
Well, here's the problem. Here's the problem that they have, and you have to sympathize with this, is that these cities don't have a lot of money, all right? And if they go out and they prosecute every diddly crime like that, which admittedly, I mean, it's terrible.
assault.
Yeah, it's assault. But if they charge somebody with that crime, then they've got to go to court with them. And they got to go through a whole thing. It's cheaper to not prosecute low-level crimes these days. That's why up at my Rite Aid, all the stuff is locked up now because everybody was going in there and stealing it, and the city wasn't doing anything about going after the people who were stealing it.
They showed pictures of a Walgreens with chains across the chains and locks across the
Well, they
glass.
have the glass, the plastic casing, and you have to
Yeah.
call somebody to come and open it up for you if you want something.
Before COVID, you couldn't get anybody to help you. How are you going to do it now?
Exactly. Exactly.
That's why these stores are
So,
closing.
so you have to have sympathy for these cities who don't go and prosecute, because by prosecuting, they're costing the city a ton of money. So,
I got one more good headline for you before you let everybody in.
well,
there
who
was
says
a-
I'm letting anybody in?
Oh, well, there was a tornado, and it hit the Pfizer plant. Does that mean that nobody's going to get Viagra anymore?
Well, they might not get any. What do you call it? COVID
Oh, that's right.
medicine.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, COVID's over.
Does Pfizer do a hard-on pill?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's.
Does Pfizer
Isn't that
Viagra?
Viagra, yeah.
Might be. Yeah.
Hey Siri, who makes Viagra? Pfizer.
Pfizer.
1994,
Okay.
filed a
yes.
patent covering the use of sildenafil.
Well, so you see Alice, you know.
I see Alice. Do you see Alice?
Yeah.
Oh, you were talking also last night about Broadway and the porno shops.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember I took you and we had dinner at Enrico's, and my friend Duke Skinner, who owned Tiffany's massage parlor, and $1 talked to a new girl.
Yeah.
We had dinner with him.
Mm-hmm.
He was a good guy.
Yeah, he was a good guy. He was a decent
Loyal
guy.
customer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you mean loyal customer?
I used to carpet all of those places.
Well, you had to carpet him a lot.
Yeah, and also his $1 talk to a nude girl. It's a good thing I never did the pull up. That was one of those things. It had a stage that went in a circle, and you put a Susan B. Anthony dollar, a coin, in a box, and the window would go up. It wouldn't open up. It would just allow you to see in, and that was the big deal with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But
And that was right next to the Condor on Columbus.
So what kind of rugs did you put in for him? I mean,
Well, at the massage parlor, Tiffany's, which was actually used in the movie Hardcore with George C. Scott.
yeah.
The lobby and the stairs, front and back, had to be carpeted all the time, and then the massage rooms we would carpet. And he just wanted
and you'd
ready
have
for
to
it.
carpet them about once every 5 weeks, right? Because they get all
just
sticky.
about. Well,
Your feet would
it's
stick to
just
the
about it.
floors. I wouldn't think you'd want to put rugs in there.
Yeah.
It was funny. It's a great story. When I was doing Midnight Blue, we had an office in the Screw offices, and somebody said, "Hey, I got a whole bunch of carpet that I'm getting rid of from this apartment that I have. Would you like the carpet?" And it was red plush carpeting. So I said, "Yeah, sure, why not?" And they said, "Well, you know where this is from? This is from Xavier Hollander's former brothel."
Really?
Yeah. So literally, the rug we had at Midnight Blue came from the Happy Hookers whorehouse.
Yeah, they like red.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But why did they pull it up?
I don't.
Do you know?
I guess because she moved out and they moved in.
Oh, and they wanted.
And who
blue
wants a
instead of red.
horrible red shag rug? It was a horrible rug. It was terrible, but
Yeah.
we needed carpeting, so we had carpeting, kind of.
Very nice.
Although our feet stuck to it a lot.
You didn't ask me. Hey, what's this one? 4 women in chaotic brawl fighting over the same married man.
Yeah.
That's,
Don't you hate
Yeah.
when that happens? Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, never happens to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never had 2 women fight over me either.
No, you had one stalking you though.
Well,
she would call
stalking's
the
not
station.
stalking's not unusual, but to have 2 women fighting over you, That'd be kind of that'd help the ego. You know?
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely.
You know.
But oh yeah, there's that poll. 16% would consider Manchin, and who's Heard? Charlie Heard?
No, that's Amber Heard.
Oh, Amber Heard. Oh, that's the one that was married and sued by what's her name? Hey, that was quick. I mean, I'm sure that's not the same one, but
No, but I just thought it was a funny joke when you said Heard and I said Amber Heard, and that was hilarious.
Yeah, you pulled that one out. You know, I mean,
yeah.
Oh, and let's see, Pence is scrambling to make the first debate.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Well, that's because Pence doesn't probably have the money. That's what it is. He has to have a certain amount of money in order to do this. You know.
Yeah, but you would think that it wouldn't be based on money; that it would be based on not popularity, but on the votes. You know.
No, it's not on the votes. It's on.
I know
how much money you have. You have to have a certain, like 50 no, not 50 million. Maybe it's
some people only had like 5 million.
Yeah, something like, I don't know, 20 million or something. You have to have $20 million in. Anybody know who? Anybody know? Nobody here is a Republican, so they don't know.
I think that Trump has raised a lot of money. It was like 35 million, but
yeah, but you know how much
somebody else raised more.
Oh, Biden has. How much has Biden raised now? Close to
50 or 55
million or something.
What?
All of them put together.
Yep.
Yeah. So he's got a good bankroll.
Yeah, but most of it's going to go to those 20 what do they call those companies that shell companies where he can distribute it amongst the other Bidens.
Oh, I
How's
see.
that different from Trump?
Where did he learn that?
Trump doesn't distribute it.
I love how Trump is constantly saying, well, you know, I just can't stand the weaponization of the Justice Department.
On a Sunday.
And then I begin to look at his administration, and didn't he weaponize the Justice Department?
Sure.
Huh?
Bill Barr.
Bill Barr.
Bill Barr doesn't like him. Alan, your
Bill Barr does.
audio is a little high.
It's real hot.
Yeah. You might have that button click that says audio or something.
No, that's not it. That would keep him level.
Is this okay?
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, that's better. Yeah, but when you first come on, it builds up a whole bunch of sound.
Going after Bud Light, he's going after the butt light.
Yeah, but anyway, all I'm saying is that he weaponized the DOJ. There's no question about it. How dare he complain about that?
But
he always complains about stuff he's guilty of.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like a subconscious.
Yeah.
Right, we Republicans think that's what the Democrats do.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, maybe I believe that yes, they are weaponizing the DOJ because he should know better than anybody on how you do it. Yeah.
The good thing is this guy that Phil brought up that he claims is in second place is DeSantis.
Ramaswamy.
Yeah, DeSantis is laying off most of his workers because he's running out of money already.
Yeah.
Yeah. DeSantis is running out of money, and Trump is running out of lawyers. Trump is. By this time next week, I think you'll probably hear about an indictment.
I hope so.
In the January 6th thing.
The thing is, you'll never run out of lawyers. I mean, they'll stop chasing ambulances for a couple of minutes just to work for Trump.
No, they won't, because Trump won't pay them.
Well, it doesn't matter.
Well, Trump has one very good constitutional lawyer he just brought on. But the question is how long he's going to stick around, because Trump he doesn't pay these people.
Well, Dershowitz seems to be against what's happening to Trump. He's not pro-Trump, but he's against.
Dershowitz is a dirtbag.
Yeah.
Why is that? He's a constitutional lawyer and a Democrat.
What? No, he's not. Not anymore.
Well, he never voted for Trump, and he actually says that he's not a Republican.
He'd like to think he's not a Republican. Well, then he acts like one.
Well, no, he talks from the Constitution.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, but he's not on Trump's legal team.
No, but
He ain't stupid. He knows Trump won't pay him.
And also, if you're on Trump's legal team, there's a chance you could wind up losing your legal license, your law license.
yeah, what's happening with Giuliani in that they did not send him a target letter. So they sent a target letter from Georgia to Trump, but there's no target
because they're
letter.
not ready, if at all, to charge him with anything.
Yeah, I don't
If
think-
if and when they are ready to charge him for something, they will then send him one of those letters too. But that's not the case right now. They're dealing with Trump. Yes, Tony.
I was watching the news with my sister. We were watching the local news, and you mentioned Rudy. I forgot to tell this to Phil, but I'll tell you, Alex. He went to Massapequa Park to the killer's house, and they stopped him from going closer. He rolled the window down. How investigation going?
He was trying
They
to
got the
hide
guy in
evidence.
custody. I mean, come on.
What killer?
He's trying to
You know
promote
what
his radio
what I
show.
don't like about this whole thing with this alleged serial killer
Yeah.
is the way they're trying this case in the press, and the way the district attorney is trying it in the press. I mean, he gets up and he goes, "Well, we caught the monster." Well,
Is that the same
The
district
chief actually
attorney?
dropped the dime on the guy. It sounds
Is
like.
that the same district attorney that Trump is dealing with?
No,
or-
this is Massapequa. That's
It's Suffolk County Police, though. That's
yeah,
different.
but I mean, you don't do that. In fact, in England, they're very specific about what you can and can't do. If you
think a
get
lot
up and
of
you
it.
say, "Look, we just caught the guy we think is the murderer or the killer, and his name is," and blah 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 blah
That's the
blah,
river.
and then that's the last thing you can they say. That's the last thing that's said about it, because you're not supposed to try it in the press. And we don't do that here. I mean, here the district attorney gets up and he's already, got the guy, in jail for the rest of his life. And, we don't know. We haven't heard the whole case.
Well,
But-
I think Tony did it.
But I feel sorry for the guy
Took
in this
over 100 guns
respect.
out of that guy.
God forbid the guy should be innocent and not guilty, and hit for the rest of his life. He will have to live with people thinking he was.
Look at the bomber the accused bomber at the Atlanta. What was that?
Well, that was Rudolph, Eric Rudolph.
No.
It was the actual
This was
bomber.
a security guard.
Oh, the security guard. Yeah.
at the Olympics.
Do you know I was there 2 days before that bomb went off? I was in
I
that
know.
park.
Why did you leave it over by the stands?
I couldn't. I wanted to leave it closer to
Heavy.
the stage, but
It was heavy.
Yeah,
you know me. I'm lazy.
You take care of it. What's that clicking sound?
Richard Jewell, I think was his name.
Yeah, but that
Yeah,
guy,
yeah,
that guy, his life was ruined.
yeah, absolutely. Even after,
Yeah.
and it was because of that exact thing of them like going on TV and saying, "Well, here's what we have against the guy, and here's what we think he did," and blah blah blah, and it was all speculation, you know, and we got to be careful about that. You know, we it should be that once you catch the guy, the district attorney, you say we caught the guy we think is guilty of this, but we don't know. But we caught the
have a
guy we
person of interest.
we have no, not a person of interest. At that point, you've arrested him. You're going to charge him. We're going to charge him, and we think that we've caught our guy. But that's all we're going to say now. And then
Yeah.
you don't
And
go.
they don't divulge the name or anything.
But they're already divulging information about what they might have on him and where he was at a
Wife
certain
already
time.
filed for divorce, Alex.
His wife
This
filed
guy
for
was
divorce.
Yeah, Wednesday in Suffolk County, my Aunt Barbara told me. She's already filed for divorce. It doesn't look good.
So much for in sickness and in health.
Exactly.
You know.
So much.
She's
I told my Aunt
trying to
Barbara, he's
protect-
guilty. They said
No,
she's already filed for divorce.
Wait a minute. She's trying to protect the assets.
Yes,
you know?
that's what I told my Aunt Barbara.
And- You remember the cop that put his knee on George Floyd? His
Yeah.
wife.
Yeah, but you see, wait a minute, hold on a second.
divorced
She
him.
shouldn't have to protect the assets, and here's why. He's not guilty of anything.
He
Okay.
didn't do nothing, yeah.
And so at this point, she shouldn't have to defend the assets. She should defend the assets later on, but
No,
not now.
because if
He was
you're
out of
in a
town.
position, if you divorce before you have to defend the assets, I would imagine half of them are hers. And so, and her family, I think she has.
These people were married, I think, for 20 years or something.
27 years. The neighbor next door on the news, Alex, said he used to look over the fence and peek at his wife sunbathing. They had to say he said he was creepy. They called him Herman Munster. I believe it. He looks like a nut.
Listen, no, it doesn't matter what he looks like, you know. I mean, it's kind of like one time they asked Alfred Hitchcock why all the bad guys in his movies were good looking. He said because if he was really ugly and menacing, he wouldn't be able to get within 10 feet of his victim.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
You know, so when you say the guy looks blah blah blah, you know,
He's 6'7", like 280. He's big.
Really?
Yeah, he's 6'7". This guy, or
huge
6'6".
guy. Yeah.
He's a big, because they were talking to the guy. He gave an interview like a year ago for his company, and he said, "What do you remember about him?" He says he was very detailed, and when he shook my hand, he said he had a super strong grip, like he was a very strong guy. He wasn't built, but he said he was unassuming though. Like he's very detailed oriented.
Nobody that's 6'7" is unassuming.
Yeah.
Sitting out. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. This is very nice. This is very nice. You know, Phil's sitting there with a phony background, and mine is a phony background, and you know, Kevin.
Jeff Stein's got a phony background.
I get the reality.
Jeff Stein, yeah, but Scott Boddicker is that on your porch?
No.
No, I'm sitting out front of the my favorite bar in Solon, Iowa.
Oh,
Really? He's in a beer garden.
oh, okay. I thought it was like a very bucolic kind of thing where you were sitting on your front porch.
No.
No, this is only
no.
Thursday, Scott, and there doesn't look like there's a lot of cars in the parking lot.
Oh, this is Solon's Beef Days, and it's a carnival. Is set up in Main Street here in Solon, Iowa. Can you hear me?
Mhm. Yeah.
Is this Iowa?
I can't go too far because I'm on their.
He's doing the Wi-Fi from the bar.
Yeah. I always thought they only had corn there.
Yeah, it was always the corner.
Did we just lose him?
Yeah, more
Yeah,
corn.
yeah. He walked away
went too far.
from the Wi-Fi signal.
I'm in the basement.
Oh well, he'll call back.
You guys cannot believe that I live in Iowa City.
Really?
Wow.
Oh yeah,
You lived in Iowa City?
I sure did.
Did you leave your keys there? Why were you there?
When we used to play cards on a Friday night
Yeah.
during the winter, you bring your car in and you take the battery off of your car and bring it into the person's house.
Oh, really?
Oh, so you can start it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it could be 30 degrees.
Oh, when I lived in Minneapolis, Minnesota,
Same
I had a car out in front of the radio station, and I would have to go out and start it a half hour before I was going to get into it at the end of my show. I went during commercial break and started up the car. And the reason I started up the car was because it was so cold that it would, even when I went out there after a half hour, it was still pretty cold inside the car.
In 1972, I went and visited my cousin in Detroit, and just outside of Detroit, and he had an automatic thing to start his car while the doors were still locked, so he could remotely start his car. And there was also something that they used to put on the engine block that kept it from freezing.
Warmer blanket.
Yeah, they have warmer blankets. Yeah, yeah.
Now they have block heaters. They plug right into the block.
Oh, right into the block? So the block is made so it can take that heater?
It's a little device that plugs into the block and it keeps the water from freezing up.
Wow, that's good. That's good. How's the weather where everybody is today? How's everything out in Contra Costa, Phil?
It's damn hot. When I left the restaurant, my temperature indicator in the car said it was 108. But as I started driving away, it got down to about 98. And currently, let's see if I go to entertainment and then weather, 79 right now.
What is it where you are, Alan?
72.
72. Wow, that's pretty nice. Right now here, it's 75. Believe it or not,
Oh.
it's not bad. You know,
Is it
I
raining
had
by you?
70.
we
Yeah. Oh,
the
91,
humidity.
awesome.
Now there we are. There's Texas for you. Okay,
Yeah.
and
He's number one.
and it's nighttime where you are now, right?
Yeah.
So it's 91 at night. How
What
Well,
time
it's
is it
10:30
there?
at night, 91 degrees.
91 degrees. How hot did it get today?
Hmm.
Hmm?
103, it says.
103. Oh wow.
So it's not even breaking 100 at night.
Yeah. How
So
about
are you starting to experience
Locking up on
issues
me.
with electricity and the
Yeah, we've had black, what you call brownouts or whatever all over the place. We're
Yeah.
setting records for electrical use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be a problem if your asshole of a governor
Yeah.
didn't make that deal to not have to go in with everybody else on the national grid. They're off the national grid, and it's a real problem. Hello, Brian Neary. What's the temperature where you are right now?
86.
86.
Oh, wow.
Jeff, how about you?
Right now, 70.
And it's 70 degrees. What?
And it was
Where,
nice. Pam and I took a walk out.
the 70 degrees where you are, Scott?
Yes, sir.
Boy, that's some
It's
nice.
beautiful.
It's
It's beautiful.
Some nice evening temperatures right now.
Oh,
you know.
So, not 86.
But you know what the problem with New York is?
8:30.
What the problem with New York is, I'd have to have this air conditioning on, even if it was like 70 degrees, because
Humid?
the humidity is just god awful.
Yeah.
I can't stand
what was that song? Hot Town, Summer in the City, back of my
I
neck.
just get sick
Dirty
with
and
it.
Pretty.
Yeah.
Was that the
it.
Trogs?
Humidity gives me a
No,
headache.
no, it was Love and Spoonful.
Love and Spoonful. Yeah.
Yeah. What happened to you, Tony? You froze up now.
Bros.
Go
Can you
for
get
it.
us a
Where's
favor?
Tony calling from?
Hmm?
He's in his bathroom or laundry.
You know, the humidity just bothers me. I get a headache.
Yeah, but there we go. Now we have
I'm in the basement. Look, I got my video here.
your video.
I'm down in the
You know,
basement with my-
Tony, that's only fair. You give everybody else headaches. Why don't you?
I can play Pac-Man. Hold on, I'll play Pac-Man. Let me play.
No, don't play Pac-Man.
Sure, I'm in the top 50 right now. I will.
Yeah, but it'll get him thrown off his funding.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Is
But
Tony
I mean, what
That's
did I see? The heat last month on the planet was the hottest it's been in history.
That's fake news.
And Alan's going to have a stroke if you don't call on him.
What? Yes, Alan.
Alan's going to have a stroke.
So it's 15 degrees warmer, 12 miles away from me, according to Brian. But I just looked at the weather.com and they say it's 73 in San Jose. So,
Well,
Yeah,
he's
but
in
we're
the valley.
in Hamilton Valley.
oh,
Hamilton
okay,
Valley is always about 5 or 10 degrees hotter because this valley keeps all the.
all right.
Yeah.
I'm just checking to make sure you're okay.
Yeah,
A heat infarction.
yeah. Well, I mean, this whole notion that people have that there's no such thing as a weather problem in this world are nuts. It's just not true.
Cyclical.
No, it's not.
cyclical.
It's not
If you look at the
cyclical.
rings on trees.
Phil, it's not cyclical. This goes
120
when you
degrees.
say that this is the hottest it's been on this planet in history.
120,000
Okay.
years.
In
So if the
120,000 years, it has never been this hot.
I don't know
Well,
what to
the Chinese are polluting at twice the level.
That's
of-
not what we're talking about here,
I know,
Phil.
but
Doesn't
you're
matter.
saying that
It
this-
doesn't matter
it's
who's
caused
polluting
by
them more.
pollution.
Who's polluting?
It's all the Chinese. Chinese.
Yeah.
It's smoking.
the
They-
Chinese.
It's
they're
not,
born with a
doesn't
cigarette.
matter who is doing What, where, how?
kidding
The
me?
fact is that over the entire planet, we are facing very definitely a climate crisis. There is no
Isn't
question.
this country doing as much as they can to alleviate the
We are doing
pollution?
something, but we haven't gone nearly as far as we should go to try and take care
Okay,
of it.
so you look at India, you look at
Forget
China.
about India, forget about China, forget about all of them, Phil. We have to look
Why?
at ourselves because we only have control over ourselves.
I understand. So if we don't pollute and China is polluting at a rate that's astronomical, what do we
Phil,
do?
let's say China is polluting at an astronomical level. Let's agree with you.
they are.
I'll agree with you. It's
They are.
terrible. It's
Yes.
terrible there. Okay? The fact that we still pollute adds to that.
Well, there's got to be a
It
balance.
adds to that. There's no balance, Phil.
Hey,
we've
you
got
know-
to go down to zero emissions, and we.
Hey, I wake up in the morning, I pollute. You know.
No, we got to go to zero emissions is what we have
when
to
you
do,
wake
Phil.
up.
But I mean to say
but
that
you-
China
if you go to-
China's worse than us. Yes, they are, but that doesn't
Okay.
mean that we shouldn't be good. Yes, Brian.
But China is very much ahead of us in the EV market too, and the batteries that they're starting to generate and all this stuff too.
Yeah. When it comes
They have
to
a lot of
they
wind,
just
they have a lot
the
of
most
solar,
popular
they do all.
the most popular electrical vehicle in the world, which we don't have in this country right now, is the Chinese electric vehicle.
Well, now the
What's it called,
Chinese
Tony?
are producing the solar panels. They're producing the batteries. They have all the rare earths pretty much sewn up that produces the batteries. What's going to happen to all of these batteries when they've reached their useful life? Where are we gonna bury them?
Well, like Elon Musk said, they're recycling them. These
I
batteries.
think the future is hydrogen.
Indefinitely, well, you're wrong, but like usual. But
Well, Toyota.
these batteries can constantly be recycled.
Well, Toyota feels also that the future is hydrogen, and that's true zero emissions. There's a company that's not public yet or fully manufacturing that makes these discs. They look like DVDs, and you can insert them, and they will charge the hydrogen to make electricity for the car. And we're not that far away from that starting to be a reality. And when that happens, where you can buy a disc, insert it the way you do a DVD for a song, and charge your hydrogen vehicle, that's the future.
Are you okay, Phil? I mean, your brain's a little bit wacko tonight.
No, I think Phil's right.
Do you? Well, you would.
Yeah,
You're
I
from
do.
Iowa.
Well, let's
he's an engineer.
hear from Charlie.
Hydrogen is
Yeah,
a very
hold-
good, viable option. Yes.
Okay, it's one of the options we should
One of
look
them.
at and
Yeah,
we should
we should look
develop.
at.
Not from a disc.
Yeah.
I don't
yeah,
know what this disc thing is, but yeah, it's a hydrogen
Neither,
is a good
neither,
option.
it is, but
I
I
got
don't know
news
about
for you,
that
Scott.
distance.
Neither does Phil.
I'm
He's just
talking about
saying
the
it because he's
hydrogen
heard it.
is a good deal.
Wait a minute.
Oh,
Hold
yeah.
on a second. Charlie.
But
Hydrogen.
hydrogen, yeah, that's a valid power source. But I've never heard about this disc that he's talking about.
It's
that you can
new.
put in your car and-
It's new. It's not out there. If I could find the interview again, that the company that's making this and working on these discs, it was amazing what they were doing.
Suppose you put the wrong disc in and it plays Fleetwood Mac.
Well, they're getting back together again for one last tour.
Aren't they dead?
Yes, most of them are.
Alex and I were trying to think about who the dead ones were, and we couldn't
Christy
remember.
McVie and the guy, what's his name?
That's recent.
Oh, and the other
Mick
is Lindsey
Fleetwood.
Buckingham
Mick
alive?
Fleetwood is
Yeah.
dead. Yeah. So how do you have
As
the
long
two
as-
people
as
who the
long
group?
as
Wait a minute.
Mickey-
How do you have the two
Mickey's alive,
people?
yeah.
How do you have the two people who the group is named after who are dead? How can you bring the group back?
Mick Fleetwood's still alive.
No,
I don't
I don't think Mick
Fleetwood's
Fleetwood.
dead.
Huh?
No, I think that Bates guy and Stevie McVie. Those are the only two dead. Lindsey Buckingham, Stevie Nicks, and Mick Fleetwood. I
Mick
think are
Fleetwood's
alive.
still alive?
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Yeah,
Hold on a
he's-
second.
He had a
Echo.
bar-
We'll
he
go
had a
to
bar in
the
Hollywood.
best source.
I mean, Hawaii.
Echo. Is Mick Fleetwood still alive?
Fleetwood is still alive.
He's still alive.
He's 76 years old.
76 years old. Okay, I'm
Youngster.
wrong. Yeah.
How old is he?
What?
76.
76.
76 is it? Yeah.
76. Well, he might as well be dead.
Yeah,
I
right.
noticed you have a hydrogen car, Phil.
You think they're going to have parking for your walkers out at the venue for Fleetwood Mac's tour?
Yeah.
That's pretty Get out of my way.
Yeah, well, I remember when I had a joke once where it was Rolling Stones had an album out called Steel Wheels. And I said at their age, the next album is going to be Steel Walkers. You know. But, you know.
But I mean,
What?
when did the whole global warming start? Was that all Al Gore? I remember that as a
No.
He just started the web.
No. Al Gore.
for a global warming.
Well, Al Gore did some very good documentaries about global warming.
Yeah.
That really made a lot of sense, you know. And he, for years, was a big proponent of cleaning up the air and not messing up our planet. And I got to tell you, this planet is going towards a point, and they say maybe within the next 10 years, that if we don't turn this thing around, there's going to be no turning it around.
Right.
You know, and we better go to Mars, and we better go to the moon, and we better go to a lot of other places, because this place is going to be uninhabitable in another 100 years.
That's why they had those mole people movies.
Well, wait a minute. It's uninhabitable now. Okay,
Yeah.
let's be honest about it.
Yeah, I mean, Trump could be president again and really screw stuff up.
They have in Phoenix had temperatures over 110 degrees for what, the last month or something?
Yeah, it's the longest period. There was something on Drudge. Fire crews are battling 119-degree heat.
Yep.
So I
What do
don't
you
know.
think Mars is? Mars isn't cool. Mars is going to be hotter than here.
Well, Mars,
and it's windy.
But you wear one of those spacesuits, and they're all cooled. Okay.
Well, we can start.
You know.
You know what you got to do? You got to
I
design.
thought skinny jeans were cool.
Well, you know, we have plans to create a full and viable atmosphere on Mars by terraforming. And it's all very possible, and it's amazing that we'll take a dead planet and try and bring it back to life while we're sitting here killing our own.
Yeah, we're taking a live planet and killing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we were talking the
sense.
other day,
I'm not going to Mars
Charlie and I were talking here the other day about the reason why Mars, their what atmosphere died pretty much on the planet was because what was the core of the planet that went bad or something like that, Charlie?
The planet cooled off. It doesn't have the plate tectonics like the Earth does.
Yeah.
But it's not as close to the sun as the Earth.
Yep.
Right?
No.
So therefore it doesn't have the gravity and the draw that.
But it's smaller. That's what did it.
It's 144.
Earth,
At its average, it's 144 million miles from the sun.
Yeah.
The Earth is 93 million. Mercury is 74 million.
Mercury's 36 million.
Is it 36? No, wait a minute. Mercury is 36 million, but I'm talking about Venus is 75, I think. Something like that. Yeah.
And what are we, 93?
We're 93 million miles, yeah. Let Brian talk.
So who's going to Mars?
I am.
I'm not going to Mars.
I'd be going in a second.
Afraid to go on a ride.
You're there. You can't. What are you going to do at Mars?
What am I going to do here? There's nothing to do.
We shouldn't be spending one penny on this crap.
Now you're wrong about that. You're Charlie.
Spend one penny on this crap.
Charlie, shall we beat up on him?
It costs a lot less. I kind of agree with him. It costs a lot less to reverse all of this global warming shit that we're doing.
Yeah, but we're not going to do it.
No. You know how we do that? You know how we reverse the global warming? We have another pandemic. When we had the pandemic, the sky cleared up in India and China, and everybody was home and didn't do crap, and there's no pollution at all. We need another COVID.
Yeah, but the Jews and the Chinese didn't die from
COVID.
COVID.
But my question to you, Brian, is look at us. Do you think we're really going to do that?
No.
They're heading back to the moon.
You know, we're not going to do that, Brian. So we may as well go to Mars and try and bring that planet to life. And it will also, you know, this planet is starting to get filled up with people. If you can move a lot of them to Mars, you can put you can lower the amount of population here on Earth and be able to use the resources we do have without
moving
polluting.
them to Texas.
Grateful Dead's not going to Mars, so how are you going to see them live?
Oh, did you hear
You can't sell
that
comic
Weir?
books in Mars. There's no carpet in Mars.
Yeah.
David Armstrong did it,
We're
like-
what's the Dead and Company? They're disbanding. The Grateful Dead, the guys that are left from the Grateful
This
Dead.
got to do with Mars.
We were just talking about there's no Grateful Dead on Mars.
And there
We're
won't
not-
be. There won't be because they're going to be dead by the time we ever have any meaningful life on
Why
Mars.
don't they
It's
give,
gonna be
why don't they
boring.
give Donald
No
Trump
sports.
Mars?
Listen,
Mars?
I wish I were a kid again. I'd be the first one volunteering to go to Mars.
Scott
Is there
raised
going to be
his hand.
alcohol in Mars?
Scott
Can
raised
there
his hand.
be in Mars?
Will be alcohol on Mars? I'm sure.
yeah.
I hope so.
I'm sure.
I don't drink, but I may have one if they get me up on that rocket.
And don't worry. They'll eventually have football on Mars, and boy, that ball can really go further.
There's a
The drink is green.
You think Canadian football?
Yeah. Yes. Yes, Alan.
The Pfizer plant, the FDA just made an announcement. They expect a shortage of several of the diabetes injectable drugs that were made there. They even make them for other smaller companies.
Mhm.
So you might look and see I don't know who's on the diabetes injection.
I'm cutting out all my diabetes
Oh,
drugs.
good. That's great.
Good, because they're not
Well,
available because all these people that want to lose weight are using them.
Are using them.
Yeah, I know. They're the ones.
Ozempic
Yeah.
and
Yep.
Wegovy.
Yeah.
They're going to have diabetes in Mars?
Oh, I'm
Well,
sure.
you
Get your
st-
medication.
Little
How are you going
green
to get your
men.
medication in Mars?
You know, Scott, I think is
Diabetes
doing somersaults out there. His
They didn't
phone
get it here.
upside
You
down.
don't know that on Mars they might not be able to develop even better drugs because they have different kinds of minerals on Mars to
There you
to
go.
work with, right, Charlie?
They need better drugs there because they're bored. There's no place to go.
Charlie, if you were younger and they were lining up people to go to Mars, would you go?
Yeah, if I was back.
I'd go in a second.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I would send Alan.
I'll go to the moon. Just send me to the moon. I'll be happy to go to the moon.
Oh, but you didn't want to go to the Titanic on that submergible?
My chances of surviving going to the moon and just surviving in that piece of crap are much better.
Unless you're on the Challenger. I
The
mean,
Challenger didn't go to the moon either, Phil.
Yeah.
I know it blew up.
Christy McCullough, that's what the joke was. Where did Christy McCullough go on vacation? All over Florida. That's what we were going to say. My
Oh,
teacher
that's
yelled
very
at me.
tasteful.
My
I have-
English teacher yelled at me in high school.
Well,
You can't say that.
I think what Chrissy McAuliffe, I believe, was pretty hot looking.
She was the teacher. My sister.
Oh no, she wasn't.
the-
No, then that's not the one I'm thinking of. What was the other one? There was one. There was a brunette who
Oh, I
died.
forgot. My sister was.
Christy Nome?
Sally Ride.
Sally Ride? No, she didn't die in the
No,
challenge.
she didn't die in space.
No.
Just joking around.
No, in fact, she just died
It's
recently.
okay, Tony. I liked it.
I said I'm only joking. She got mad at me.
Well, she was, her class, the teacher that blew up.
Yeah, she was. She had.
her class liked her. She only blew up in front of them once.
Yeah.
That's not fun.
You see,
Not bad.
that's not funny. These people are
She got mad
people
at
who.
me. So why
This is a woman who was doing it kind of get. What are you laughing about, Charlie?
Alex, if they
You're
actually-
incorrigible,
Charlie,
Charlie.
no laughing. Charlie, that's sick. You're
Oh, that's funny, Alan.
Huh?
That's about time. Alan's been on over a year, and this is the first time anything's been funny.
Oh, I don't know. She had blue eyes. One blew that way. I mean, there were so many jokes. She told her husband, "You feed the dogs, I'll feed the fish."
What
Well,
was
you
the
know,
one
I
about
got to tell you,
freebasing?
there's a thing I call folk jokes, and what they are, is they were jokes. There would be a national tragedy, and all of a sudden, the next day, there was the same joke going all around the country. And you wondered, how did this thing land, in the public consciousness and then spread around? Now, this was at a time when there wasn't really the internet wasn't quite as vital as it is today. So how did it get out there? Because I remember the joke right after the Challenger thing, and they said, you know what caused the Challenger explosion? Freebasing. That's right. Yeah. You heard it, right?
I have a friend that was a stockbroker.
That's the answer right there. The stock market is where they started.
And he would call people trying to get them to buy stock.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And he didn't buy it himself. He bought apartment buildings, but
what I'm saying is that's how these folk jokes got all around the country, was because sitting in stock brokerage firms, they got the joke, and another guy told them the joke, and they would tell somebody in San Francisco, and then it got spread out there, and before you know it, the same joke's going all over the country.
But you know how you play telephone? You say to one person something, and then it changes, and you say it to somebody else, and it changes even more.
These jokes pretty much remain the same way.
Remain the same, which is interesting.
Amazing.
Because the stockbrokers are not telling you the truth anyway.
Right. Are they Republican?
Of course.
Well, that's why they're not telling the truth.
Nah.
Democrats are
they want commission, not because
the Democrats are sworn to tell the truth.
Alpo dog food. What?
What?
His stockbroker calls him on Fox. Phil stockbroker. I got a big company going IPO. What is it? Dog food. Big deal. I'll got like 500 shares. Phil, they don't do anything.
You'll have to explain that.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Let's diagram that joke.
I don't think it's a joke. I was just kind of like poking fun at him, really.
But let's diagram that joke. How exactly did you get from that to funny?
Well, I didn't think it was funny, actually.
Why are you laughing?
Then why did you laugh while you were saying
I was just joking about it with his stockbroker, giving him like a hot tip. He
gets a hot tip for Alpo. Alpo could be a hot tip.
It could, but it's not innovative, though.
By the way, my favorite commercials, I got to tell you, on television today, and I love them, are the ones for the dog food.
Which one?
The delivery system for dog food. Chewy.
Oh.
Yeah.
And like the dog sitting in the chair, talking to this guy and going, when that Chewy thing came, my tail went so much I broke the vase.
Wow.
And the guy says, it's vase. And then they talk some more, and he said, well, boy, I'll tell you, man, one day you guys are going to have the tail, and we're going to be sending away for Chewy for you. And then he goes, well, that might be. And then the dog goes, vase. And he says, stop it. He says, vase. And that's the whole commercial. And I love it. And there's another one with a cat sitting there, and they're giving out all the money to the family because somebody died.
Reading of the will.
The reading of the will.
Yeah.
And the cat gets a lifetime supply of Chewy, right?
Marble's the cat.
Marble's the cat. And the cat goes, I love that old man. And then they go, and there's something else, and so you get what was it that the guy got? He got something.
Train set.
The train set, right? And then to Mr. Marbles, I give him all my properties, and they're going, what is this all about? And the cat goes, hey, you got the train set. I mean, these ads are terrific. They're just terrific.
Never seen those.
You're going to like that Jack in the Box Snoop Dogg commercial. It's actually pretty good. He's standing there in like a robe with gold all over the place, and you know what the brunt of the thing was, munchie meals at Jack in the Box.
Yeah.
When you see it on TV, you'll like it. It's
I haven't seen it, and God knows our TV set is on all day long.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was probably on Fox.
That's why it's so hot in New York.
I've seen it online.
They don't have Jack in the Box on the East Coast, do they?
No, I think they have them everywhere.
You know something? I can't say that I've seen it. There's no Jack in the Box in Manhattan.
I got a guy on the East Coast that always comes out here and eats Jack in the Box.
Yeah,
but they got White Castle. And we don't have White Castle. and I
Yeah,
like
we
them.
do.
You like White Castle?
Go to
Oh,
San
yeah,
Francisco,
those little
there's a White
burgers.
Castle.
Yeah.
You got to buy them in the freezer.
I used
You
to.
know why?
I
You
used
know
to
why
do
we
a dozen
like
of
them? Because they're so terrible.
Yeah.
They're really
Well,
terrible.
little
I mean, come
square
on, it's
thing with some onion
it's
on
a
it.
terrible excuse for meat. You
You can
know?
buy them in the freezer.
So thin, you don't
Phil.
know that it's meat. It's mystery meat.
Yeah.
You can buy them in the freezer, Phil.
Yeah, I've tried that.
Well, you
Not
used to
very
go down.
good.
You used to get a bag of like a half a dozen of them,
Yeah.
and then you would just eat a whole half a dozen.
Remember they were like 20 cents a piece or 19
Yeah.
cents a piece?
Yeah.
Cheap.
We've got a White Castle right down the street from here. You know
That's kind of racist, isn't it?
what?
Well, you live in a black neighborhood.
Well, I think it's very nice of them to put a White Castle in a black neighborhood.
You're the
What do you
one who
want, black
raised this thing. It's a
Castle?
black neighborhood.
That was
Yeah.
cute, Phil.
I mean, come on, would you call the place Black Castle?
Maybe.
That
Love
sounds.
White Castle.
You got the Black
then-
Knight.
then you
Why not
wouldn't
the
get a
Black
hamburger.
Castle?
No, that'd be in
You'd get
some-
a hamburger, you'd
in a
get
movie.
ribs
In
there.
movie, that'd be a place you go because that's where all the evil was at the Black Castle. You know,
Yeah.
or Castle Black. You remember that was in Game of Thrones.
Casablanca. Oh,
Casablanca is White
They were
Castle.
open all night, White Castles. I used to be right by my mother's work. It's still there.
What?
White Castle's open all night for burgers.
There you go.
Really? Oh.
only you would know that.
I don't,
Oh,
I don't
I
know if the one
see.
in my, I don't know if the one in my neighborhood is. However, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only one I ever ate at is on Las Vegas Boulevard, and it was garbage.
They had a White Castle?
Yeah, a couple of years ago when I was there, everybody wanted to go, and we went, and it was horrible. And
You didn't like it?
Isn't this
Right
what
on
we?
the
Orange Julius.
right on the start.
Oh, I used to get those.
Too.
They went out with a pretzel.
Isn't this what we
it
used to
is
call?
right.
Isn't this what we used to call a full house?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we get 10, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I just had to say hello. I was watching on my car, but Tony's joke was so hilarious about dog poop. I just was like laughing so hard I had to call in, man. It was incredible.
Yeah. Yeah.
You didn't have a stroke, did you?
But I would think that if it was that funny, you would have had to pull off to the side of the road.
He's not actually driving. This is a driver's training car.
Yeah.
Did you get a new car?
It's nice, yeah, they're where he's driving.
How do you know whether? you got,
No, it's just my Hyundai.
Oh,
why would you think it was a new car, Phil? What does
because
it
I
have?
thought he had a Volkswagen, and I didn't know he had a sunroof.
Oh, I did. Yeah, I did have a Volkswagen,
Wow,
but
good.
I sold it back.
The coolest sunroof is when Brian's coming back, and he goes through that tunnel in his car, and you can see the lights on the sunroof bouncing. That's cool.
Yeah.
The tunnel?
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
Brian,
Tunnel of love.
Brian, how's everything at work?
That's good.
I mean, are you doing less business because there's no COVID, or are you doing more business?
No, because we have all our other assays that we used to do before, all the other infectious disease like HPV, HCV, and
How about some
MRSA,
tuberculosis?
yeah, TB, MTB, yeah. So all that stuff that we used to do during COVID, we stopped doing all that just to supply the world with COVID. Now that COVID's done, we sort of had a little break for a couple months, but now we're picking up all of our new stuff. And since we had that break, we're moving up everything to Lodi right now. So I'm in charge of that. And the director of manufacturing is having back surgery, so they want me to run that factory for.
Hey, you guys supplied the world with COVID? I thought Wuhan Lab did.
No, he was gonna say
Not
that.
funny.
Yeah, it's funny.
No, it's not.
Nobody's laughing.
No, nobody you guys don't want to know where it came from. Oh no, it didn't come from China.
Who cares
Came
where it
from
came
the
from?
White House.
Yeah,
Again, it doesn't
care,
matter where
because
it doesn't.
not a spread if they
It
would have
doesn't.
warned us.
It doesn't matter. No, if they warned us, it still would have gotten.
It
you.
would have.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
warned us 3 months after they started having.
Trump
people
wouldn't have
jumping in the
listened
street.
to it anyway.
Yeah, Trump
Trump
wouldn't
was
have
a
listened to
moron.
it. In fact, he didn't listen to it.
Let him come in. It's okay.
Remember the interview
Wait.
where he-
Scott Boddicker
Sorry.
said.
Sorry.
Scott Boddicker said something. What, Scott?
Oh, I was going to say,
Sorry.
didn't Trump say something like, it'll be over in 2 weeks?
Yeah,
Something like that.
yeah.
And pretty much it was.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Wiped out. How many in the
You're absolutely right.
Charlie? What's the current count on the world population that died from it?
And my mother's one of them.
1.5 million.
No.
No, the world. That's
world.
here in the U.S.
Oh, right. Yeah, sorry.
And when it was going up to like 30,000, he said, "Oh,
the
this is
numbers
only
are
going to
so
be
much
about
lower
50,000."
under Biden than
Wait,
when Trump
hold on a second. What would you say?
No, I'm
Brian?
saying when it was going up, he thought it was going to stop at 50,000 people for the U.S.
Yeah. Well, isn't that enough deaths as it is?
Well, why
okay,
the
Ray.
US
Ray
Oh,
was
sorry.
trying to talk. Yes, Ray.
Do you remember the audio interview with Bob Woodward where he admitted that he knew it was going to be really bad and he didn't want to tell anybody information for a long time? Remember
Yeah.
that?
Woodward had the book too,
Yeah, I
right?
do.
Yeah. Well,
Nobody.
Don't forget that.
Nobody knew how bad it was going to be.
And he knew it was airborne.
He
way they
said
know.
that eventually it would mutate to the point where it was like the common cold, and that's where
And he
it's-
was right.
No, when did Trump ever say
That's
that?
not what he said to Woodward.
I never heard that.
Yeah.
I
he
heard the
said
whole
that
interview.
it would
well, wait a
mutate.
minute. But you listen to what Ray is saying, Ray.
Okay, he told Woodward that he knew it was going to be really bad. I heard him say this,
He did
and that
say
he
Ray's
wasn't
right.
going to tell people. Yeah.
He didn't want to scare them. He didn't want
He
them to
didn't
get
want
them
to
in
panic the markets, I think, and he didn't want to panic
Oh, come
the
on.
population.
Come on, Phil.
Uh,
Wake up.
Jesus.
That's a pretty lame excuse for him, Phil.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
It's always just.
That's a great leader.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a great leader says this could be a real problem for us if we don't hunker down and do something right now.
Do you remember when Bush was reading this to the children in the school and the 9/11 and the planes hit the thing and he was told, but he continued to read because he didn't want to.
That wasn't the reason he kept reading, was because he didn't have more information. They only had spotty information on it
Yeah, but
at
he
that
didn't
moment.
wanna-
He then continued with it for a short time, excused himself, and then got the full information
And
on what
hit
had
in
happened.
the Air Force One.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, went in the air.
What was he
and-
supposed to do? Tell the kids?
Yeah, well, the same with Trump. You know, what are you supposed to do? Tell everybody's going to die? You know,
Oh.
Nobody
but-
knew that,
no,
Phil.
no.
Not
Talking
even Trump.
seconds. We're talking seconds. When they show that film,
Wait a minute. Hold
They
on
rattle
a
off
second.
seconds.
One person at a time. Brian?
Get on
no, I'm
the
just saying we're talking about seconds, and I don't agree with that either. I didn't care for Bush, but I didn't agree when they're showing that film and they show seconds ticking off and he wasn't doing anything. It's not compared to months of and a year of not doing
Well,
anything.
let me be very honest. At the moment that the World Trade Center got hit by both planes, what could he possibly do sitting in a classroom in Florida?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Even if he hopped on Air Force One, what could he do? He couldn't stop what inevitably happened. You know.
No.
But
Although Trump could have stopped some of the death in this country by telling people
Yes.
to wear masks.
well,
And
he could have. He
not
could
come
have.
up with this stupid conspiracy theories on how to fix yourself with bleach and some of the other drugs that had never proved out.
Yeah.
Until you light up your ass.
bleach is good stuff.
Yeah.
It keeps your hair nice and colored.
Well, let's not talk about some of these false narratives
Yeah,
because
you'll
I
get demonetized and they'll beat you
no, I
up.
get demonetized again or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
How
But
much money are you making on this, Alex?
It isn't a matter of how much I'm making. Actually, if I get another hit on this thing, it's one of what do they call it?
Strike?
A strike. Yeah, and if I get 3 strikes, I can never
You're
be
out.
on YouTube again.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's what RFK Jr. was talking about. Was the
Kill the Jews? Yeah.
no? He was talking about how the legacy news media and YouTube and Facebook and so forth were controlling what stories could be said, and if you said anything that was different than the government narrative, they would suspend your account, and that's what they did. You know, you mentioned Steven Crowder earlier. That's what they did to him, and a number of other people. They silenced them.
Well, the
now.
thing they said that I didn't do. You know,
Yeah. No, I
You
understand.
know, but they listen to only that part of it where somebody was saying what somebody else had said, and then we
Yeah.
all followed up with, that's ridiculous, and how can you be irresponsible in saying something like that? We were referring to Fox TV.
Yeah, I
And
understand.
so all they did was listen to that small part because that's what their algorithms chopped out and played for them. And it was 2 years old. You got to remember, it was 2 years old. What the harm? If there was harm, it had already been done. Should have let me know the next day, right?
That's because they laid off all those people.
But what happened is, I then protested it, and they went back and listened to it again, and still said it still holds. Well, it's because they only listened to that portion that the algorithm played for them, and I can't protest that. I have no other, you know. So I keep praying that Twitter will go to video, you know.
No.
Never know.
Yeah.
At least you'll be able to say what you want to say.
Yeah, well, no, not necessarily. Not necessarily. You know, I mean, I just, you know, it's ridiculous. I hate it when somebody, you know, get a hold of me and ask me the next day if you said this, if this went on. But 2 years later?
Now,
Come
YouTube, you said that sometimes you post 2 shows, and one of them
I
gets
post 2 shows.
monetized,
One of them
and-
is the recording that I do here, and the other
Yeah.
one is the recording that YouTube automatically makes.
Right.
Okay.
Which one was getting demonetized? The YouTube?
the one
feed,
that
or-
went live, you know,
the
and yet
recording-
the other one they never hit me up for, you know.
And it's the same show. It's a
yeah, and
mirror.
I've been demonetized many times on 2 different shows, on a different show, on, you know, on certain shows, like demonetized because of what happened on that
That
show.
Monday show, you know.
Yeah, and
it's
then
pretty
I recorded it. Okay, I recorded it as well, and that one never got hit. Only the one that went live. You know, and then I've had them demonetize the Monday show, which is never controversial, is it, Brian?
Oh.
Yeah,
Never.
yeah.
Never.
We never talk about
Hey,
politics.
Mandy said
Really?
she wanted to punch me in the face.
So did a lot of other people, but
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
a lot of
We're
That's,
not flying them
But
out
she
here.
verbalized it.
that's considered a public service. Okay.
Maybe we'll talk about what.
Hey, I think maybe we've lost Kevin tonight. I think Kevin's asleep. Oh,
No, he's there.
He's there.
He's
You haven't,
there.
you haven't said anything basically
Hey,
tonight.
if you got
Kevin.
it, smoke it. You know.
Maybe it's because Phil won't shut up, right?
Maybe.
Okay, that's it. Yeah, because if you
You know,
try,
I was actually reading about his discs, hydrogen discs,
Oh, you did?
I
Okay.
did too.
kinetic plasma.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Yeah,
It's interesting, isn't it?
it's been around
Hey,
since
Kev-
2008.
Yeah.
Well,
no, wait a minute.
News
I
station-
Wait a
work
minute,
for a company that actually did the first hydrogen cars. They're still doing them, but
Yeah,
this is an alternative to that. But
Yeah.
now that we're at the end of the show, I guess we got to go.
Yeah.
Have a nice night.
Scott
about,
Boddicker, what were you going to say, Scott? Oh, shut
Well,
up, Phil.
I
for
was
a
reading
minute.
an article too about what these hydrogen discs. It was an article from 2010.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, you
But
just
so they're suppressing that stuff, and it's
they're
going to
not
take
suppressing
time.
it at all,
It's
Phil.
going to take time for this kind of technology.
Apparently,
Take
that kind of
Apparently, it's
technology.
hokey. Yes.
Well, no, what's
It's already there and
happened
they've defined it.
is that kind of technology has not been taken seriously. Okay,
Yeah.
for
It's
one
still in
reason
the
or
experimental
another.
stage.
Well,
It's a lot like
electricity isn't. Okay, so that's
yeah,
the
but
difference.
electricity has other problems. I mean, you know,
Like
where
what?
Okay, all right. You're
gonna have a lot of
okay,
people-
I said we're at the end of the
okay,
show, so
Oh, please,
we can't
Yeah.
talk.
Phil. Let's
Thanks,
let
Kevin.
Phil. Don't.
Good night.
That's.
Good night, Phil.
Yeah, I'm gonna play the.
yeah,
I'm gonna play the theme.
I
here.
actually had a fan call me from Pittsburgh
I think I hear that
today
music.
at the store.
You got
Yeah,
a fan?
really.
Shout
Me
out
too.
to Dave from Pittsburgh.
Dave from Pittsburgh.
You have a fan.
Is
Boy.
it?
Yeah.
How
Well,
much
Can you
do you
believe
pay him
that?
a month?
Life is
You know?
getting too short. Anyway, the
Made
theme
him a
is
character.
playing.
He's a-
Phil,
I hear the
Music
music.
playing.
Phil, thank you for helping me spend the first half hour because Lori's tape wasn't available.
Well, I know I'm a cheap date.
And thanks to Kevin. Kevin, always a pleasure to have you there. Okay.
here.
And I know that you know. Call tomorrow night. You won't have to talk over somebody. Let me see here. And of course, our old friend Alan is been with us tonight. Thank you. Thank you to Charlie Wallace. Tony, thank you for all the wonderful jokes you pulled tonight.
Sure, I gotta get
Jeff,
you,
thank you for being here. Scott, call anytime, okay?
Hey, it'll be beef days tomorrow about this time, so I'll call live from the metropolitan area of Solon, Iowa.
You got white corn, you got yellow corn, you got candy corn.
Shut up,
what other
Phil.
corns they got?
We don't do no white
Shut
corn
up,
around
Phil.
here.
Brian, thank you for calling, and thank you to Ray. Will everybody give a big wave goodbye? And I'll give a big wave goodbye at you. Okay, there they go, folks. That's our citizen panel for tonight. And we'll get another one assembled tomorrow. There'll be one assembling for the Jack Bishop Show, The Intersection, next on Skype at Gabnet Live. Skype at Gabnet Live. I'll see you again tomorrow night. Same time, same station in life. And in the meantime, if you see her, tell her I love her, okay? Good night, everybody.